another video on my channel, the channel. Today we are going to, why did I say today like that? Happy 2022, back at it again. We still out here making this content. So as promised, I did like a little poll on my Instagram. Go ahead and follow me on the gram. If you don't follow me on the gram, follow me on TikTok, follow me on Depop, follow me on YouTube. Just follow me in general. But today I wanted to make a brief video regarding, or just like kind of giving some pointers for anybody that's trying to start a podcast of their own. As you all may or may not know, I have my own podcast called the Authentically Iconic Podcast. I'll go ahead and enter that here for you guys too to go follow. Please tap in. We are officially, like, I believe on episode 48 or 49 at this point. And shit just keeps getting better. I feel like, honestly, like that, my podcast became my main source of like where I started to go talk my shit freely, because for a while, like I used to do a lot of rants on my stories and things like that. But I don't know, I started to feel like no one gives a fuck, and like, why am I even like using my, I don't know, like I just felt like, why am I even using my platform or saying anything or speaking about these things when like no one gives a fuck. But I'm slowly but surely getting out of that mindset, because that's not the mindset that pushed me to have my own YouTube channel. And obviously these are things that I'm passionate about speaking on and shedding light on, so I definitely want to continue with that. So yeah, I'll probably be back on my shit like that too, and I'm just trying to like experiment with new content and things like that. So this is turning into like an update slash you know, podcast shit, so bear with me because I just really wanted to get all that information out there. But okay, so first and foremost, to start your own podcast, there's different ways that you can do it. The biggest thing, or the biggest way that I started, first of all, people, we live in a world where Google exists, right? So that's my biggest thing. Definitely Google the different, first of all, because I'm all over the place. First of all, think of a name of your podcast. I would start there, because your branding is going to go all around that. And we'll get into branding details and things like that. But think first of the name of your podcast, what you would want it to be named, like, you know what I'm saying, basic shit. What do you want your @ name to be on the gram? Because obviously, like, you need to make a designated page, so you may want to develop that as well. After you think of a name, think of like, you know, the shit that you're gonna be tackling, like the main topics that, you know, because we can tackle a lot of topics, but like the main topics that you're passionate about the most, definitely tap into that and just try to like go from there, because obviously like that's also important as far as like what it is that your podcast is going to be about, because there's over 700,000 podcasts out here, you know what I'm saying, and all of them are designated and have specific like things that they speak on. So definitely ask yourself, like, what would I be speaking about, or some topics that I would be shedding light on with my podcast. After you do that, look at the different places that you can record and things like that, because dude, there's people that literally do their podcast on SoundCloud. You can put your podcast on YouTube. You can put your podcast on well, not necessarily Instagram, but like you can do your podcast with like video and have like cameras recording your podcast. You can do your podcast with more than 4 people and just have like a bunch of different mics and have like a studio and things like that. But for me personally, like, I don't have a studio, so, and I don't know, maybe I'm not gonna say never, but because I don't know if eventually I'll have like a studio or anything like that. But as of now, I definitely I'm portable with my shit. So I have like a mic that they sold. I bought it in Best Buy. So like, if you're interested in buying like a podcast mic or whatever, they have really good ones and really good deals at Best Buy. And that's just to make sure that, like, you know what I'm saying, your clarity is on point and all that, because like a lot of people tell me like, oh my god, your voice sounds so clear on your podcast and things like that. How did you do that? And it's really just the mic. And again, it's literally just me. And again, the mic is it cancels out the noise around you, because that can be very distracting as well, and you want people to be able to hear your podcast, unless it's like a visual podcast, you know what I mean? Like there's different I've definitely done a podcast that was like in a studio, so it's a different setting. But again, it just all depends on your circumstance, what you're trying to do, where you're trying to take it, because that's going to depend on your equipment. I don't want you to get discouraged and just feel like, oh, I can't have my own podcast because you don't have the necessary, like, you don't have access to a studio or access to like high definition cameras and all that shit, because mine is all voice, you know what I mean? Like, and again, that will be down below in the description if you guys want to check it out. And I think I'm gonna start uploading my my episodes also onto what's it called, onto YouTube, well, onto YouTube probably, but I'm probably gonna start that like on episode 50 or something, just for it to be like a solid number, because I'm on 48 right now. So yeah, I'll definitely be posting that on my YouTube channel and stuff, and we'll go from there. But after, again, me personally, what I use to record, so I record online and I record using this app called Anchor. Anchor, a app that basically, what I like about it the most is that like I can record my shit, and then I obviously you can download the audio, edit it, things like that, and you have to figure out what software you're gonna use to edit. But I honestly, all of my podcast episodes are always off the dome. Like all of my podcast episodes are just like, you know what I'm saying? I kind of freestyle. So again, when it comes to being very calculated and this, that, and the third, like, don't make it so difficult, you know, because I know that's what it seems like. But again, there's so many different ways, and so it just depends what resources you have, what you're willing to invest in, things like that. And most importantly, like, just be passionate. I tell everybody, like, please be passionate about the shit you're talking about, because people feel that, and 9 times out of 10, that's the reason people tune in to your podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like they're tapping in because they're like, oh, okay, this is some valid shit. You know what I mean? Like this is valid, like the way you're talking, and like the topics that you're touching on, things like that. So just make sure that like it's genuine, and everything that you're talking about you're actually passionate about, because then naturally, guess what happens when you're passionate? You will naturally speak on shit, you know, that actually matters to you, you know, and it'll just flow easily. So yeah, that. And then lastly, I will say, figure out a way to be able to distribute your podcast so it's literally on every platform. And so again, with Anchor, if you guys are interested in using Anchor, I will leave it down below as well for your information. But Anchor, again, it works amazing, and it literally will push out your episodes to Apple Podcasts, to Spotify, whatever choice preference people have to listen to your podcast, they will have access to it. It pretty much does it for you, so that's another dope thing. But yeah, those are, I mean, I don't know how many things I said, but that is just a little bit of how I started my podcast. And yeah, I'm still a baby podcast, but we're out here because, again, ain't nobody more passionate about the shit that I'm speaking on. So yeah, I will be more active on this channel. I know I always say that, but thank you for rocking with me if you're rocking with me still. I know, you know what I'm saying, I've been doing YouTube now since fucking, I think 2015 or something. So I really want to get back on here because, I mean, this is like my first love. So yeah, thank you so much for tapping in. I will see y'all in my next video, YouTube video, podcast.